More than a year has passed since our 2-year-old daughter was hit by a car, but Sveta has never recovered from her grief. The more time passed, the more her pain grew. Sveta quit her job, which she loved very much, cut off all contacts with friends and relatives, cried more and more often at night. I caught her in the middle of the night going through Alinka's things and toys. My wife flatly refused to get rid of them. Sveta could look at her daughter's photos in her phone from late evening until the morning. I was in a lot of pain too, but I tried to be strong, for Sveta's sake. At first, it seemed to me that my beloved just needed time to pull herself together and try to somehow start living further, but with each month the situation continued to worsen. My wife was fading before my eyes. The apogee of everything was when Svetlana left home to go to the store and did not return. She had been gone for 2 days. I was on my feet looking for my wife. I raised the ears of all the police, friends, and acquaintances, and we managed to find her, in the cemetery. Sveta sat and sobbed over her daughter's grave all this time. My heart was bleeding when I saw this picture. In a thin autumn coat, kneeling in the snow and leaning against the monument, shivering, the unhappy mother was shedding tears. But the most terrible thing was her gaze, wandering and absolutely detached. As much as I hated to admit it, I couldn't cope. Sveta needed a doctor's help. After therapy, my wife began to feel better, and the treatment was doing her good.
At one of the last sessions, the doctor recommended that we change our place of residence so that Sveta could be less distracted by memories and return to normal life sooner. So we did, changing the apartment to a similar one in another part of the city. For the first few months after the move, everything went well. Sveta was even going to return to work and was already looking for options. But then everything changed abruptly. One night I found my wife sitting on the kitchen floor, staring at the wall. I was dreaming about Alina. She asked me to take her away, said she was cold and scared, Sveta said without emotion. Trying to behave calmly, I helped my wife to get up and put her to bed. But a few days later, the situation was repeated again. "She is there," said Sveta. "I hear her crying." "Who? Where is there?" I did not understand. "Alina, she is there." My wife pointed her finger at the wall. "I can hear her crying. She dreams about me every night and asks me to take her away. I'm going to go crazy soon. Sveta, the doctor said that dreams, sometimes—" "You don't understand. I can hear her. She's calling me for help." Sveta screamed. It took me a lot of effort to calm my wife down and bring her back to the bedroom. At that moment, I felt powerless again. I didn't want to relive the nightmare again. Svetlana's mental state continued to deteriorate. One night she woke me up and told me that she could hear Alina crying. I strained my hearing, but it was useless. Sveta was going crazy. The next day, my neighbors called me and said that if I didn't calm my wife down right away, they would call the police. After dropping everything and rushing home from work, I found Sveta with a perforator in her hands, with which she was chiseling the wall in the kitchen. "Oh my God! Sveta! What are you doing?" I was frightened, trying to take away the drill from my wife. "Where did you get it in general?" By the time I arrived, my beloved had already managed to drill a lot of holes in the wall. It seemed that a few more blows and she would penetrate through the wall. "Get off! Alina's in there! Let me go!" Sveta burst out, choking on her tears. "I have to save her! Alina is dead!" I couldn't take it anymore and started screaming. "Do you understand? You can't bring her back. We have to move on." I can hear her crying. "She's calling me." The wife wouldn't stop. "Sveta, you can't hear anything. I specifically checked with all the neighbors. No one has small children. It's all in your head. No, she's calling me." Sveta got really hysterical. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't calm her down. It was painful, but I saw no other way out. I called an ambulance. The ambulance team injected Sveta with a powerful sedative, and my wife passed out immediately. I was offered to take her to the hospital, but I couldn't. My Sveta is not crazy, it's just— I didn't know what followed that just. After seeing the doctors off and thanking them for their help with a ruble, I took my wife to the bedroom and went to the kitchen. I was shaking all over. My head was buzzing with thoughts and emptiness at the same time. I had no idea what to do next. Suddenly, I heard a cry, a real baby cry. It was coming from the side of the wall. I think I've lost my mind now. I walked over to the mangled wall and put my ear to it. The child was wheezing and choking on a scream. It seemed to be costing him a lot of effort to cry. I remembered Alina screaming, but this crying behind the wall was unhealthy. Something was definitely wrong with the child. So the neighbor had deceived me and someone had small children after all? Oh, wait. It's the next-door neighbor. I don't think he could have known, or maybe I'm imagining it. I listened. Silence. The crying stopped. I waited a few more minutes. The baby was silent. To make sure that I was not crazy, I checked on sleeping Sveta and went to the next doorway. Once I got to the right floor, I rang the doorbell.